1.7 million Filipinos use drugs. The most popular substance being abused in the country is still SHABU. This is methamphetamine.
Nagsimula ako nito, 17 ako. Pero wala pa naman kasi ako mapasukan ng trabaho, kaya ito pa lang yung pinagdidiskartehan ko, pinagpangita ko.
Pag di mo binayaran, wala. Hahanapin ka nun. Papatayin ka na nila.
The Philippines drug trade is worth an estimated $8.4 billion. SHABU, the local name for crystal meth, has for the last 20 years dominated the market. Its popularity as a stimulant, fueled by grueling work hours and a profound lack of opportunities, has made it the go-to drug for those looking to work longer hours to earn more money. But while the country's drug trade has traditionally been controlled by Chinese drug traffickers, earlier this year police in Manila arrested Horacio Hernandez Herrera, an alleged third-in-command to Mexico's infamous Sinaloa cartel, one of the world's most powerful and deadly drug trafficking organizations. We spoke to Colonel Espino of the Philippine National Police to find out why SHABU is so popular and the challenges law enforcement face in the country.
Hi, Colonel.
Hi.
How are you? Thank you for meeting us. What do you think it is about SHABU that makes it so popular in the Philippines?
It is cheap. It's very cheap.
So it's quite easy to get it and find it.
Yes,
It's
and the particular drugs that they are selling, can be afforded by ordinary people here.
And what are the sort of main challenges for the PNP and the PDA when it comes to tackling drug trafficking organizations in the country?
Well, what we could say here is the drug trafficker really have a lot of money. They could buy the law enforcer. They could reach up to the judiciary, the prosecutors, and you must have really a strong moral conviction,
Right.
not to be tempted with those bribery.
So what are the main methods that you use to target and prosecute these big foreign cartels?
On the street level, we are being helped by our community, who help us pinpoint what particular barangay or places in the community are rampant in illegal drugs.
With a staggering 92% of Manila's barangay neighborhoods estimated to be affected by SHABU, we met with an informant working with the Philippine DEA to find out how SHABU was affecting her neighborhood.
Inaantay lang namin yung feed ng informant namin. Pagkatapos, saka kami gagawa ng aksyon. Kaya pag nasa area na tayo, kung pwede ibaba natin yung camera para hindi tayo masunog sa trabaho.
The confidential informant has now joined us in the back of the vehicle, and we're going to drive into her neighborhood where she's going to identify the locations where dealers are distributing SHABU into the neighborhood for the agents in the car so they can prepare their intelligence for an eventual raid.
This house number 110, 2 pushers in there. Okay, there's another 1 pusher in here. That one, number 197, the one with the green color at the left side, the name is this one of the big pusher in here.
So you've been into these houses
Yes.
and you've seen them handle drugs or deal drugs? How long have you been an informant for the PDEA?
Just recently, because I cannot take anymore. I can't take anymore. So just to keep silent. No, I wanted them to be in
arrested,
jail.
yeah.
Yes, I wanted them to be arrested and put in jail.
Why do you think SHABU is so popular in Manila and your district here?
We have a very low punishment.
So gangs don't fear the
Yes,
police?
the gangs don't fear. Those drug peddlers don't fear because of the justices. If the death penalty should come back in our justice system, I think the best.
So are you worried for your safety by doing it?
Yes, of course, I'm very much worried with my safety. My whole family is living in this area.
Have you got a weapon to protect yourself at home?
I have my weapon at home with a license.
Do the pushers have weapons?
Of course.
With a quarter of Filipinos living in poverty, SHABU's affordability and accessibility have made it the drug of choice, with open abuse becoming the norm in Manila's poorer areas. We met with one user to find out how he got into SHABU.
JR, how old are you and when was the first time you took SHABU?
Nagsimula ako nito, 17 ako. 18 years old na ako ngayon, mag-19 sa November. Ang una nagpatry sa akin nito, pinsan ko, nabuyo lang kasi ako. Nagkayayaan, ayoko sumama yun. Yung sumama ako, yung sumama na lahat yun, sumama na rin ako. Tayo na anit ko, yan, hay na, nawala yung lasing ko.
So do a lot of people that use it get into dealing SHABU to pay for their habit?
Oo, yung iba kailangan ng pera, yung iba makatira lang, ganun, okay na sa nila. Tapos yung iba naman talagang magnanakaw na, ganun, makatira lang. Pero wala pa naman kasi ako mapasukan ng trabaho, kaya ito pa lang yung pinagdidiskartehan ko, pinagpangita ko.
What do your parents think of you using SHABU?
Oo, sa ngayon alam na. Kasi yung father ko patay na. Yung mother ko buhay nga. Pero parang wala namang intindi sa amin. Parang simula yung namatay yung tatay ko, wala na. Hindi na kami nintindi. Naging parang loka-loka na rin. Oo, galit ako sa sarili ko. Parang, kasi hindi naman tama yung ganun talaga eh.
JR took us to meet with some of his friends who've been smoking SHABU for over 20 years.
Hi guys, kamusta?
Okay lang. Hindi, bangko, bigyan.
So this is 2,400 pesos worth, which would last these guys quite a long time. Russ, why do you think SHABU is so popular?
Dahil kapag nakatikim ka nito, parang gusto mo na siya eh. Ito ang kinakagustuhan ng Pilipino dito sa amin. So yan, pag nakahit-hit ka yan, mga 3 oras ang tama niyan. Tapos pag maghahanap ka na naman.
So when you take a hit of SHABU, how does it make you feel?
Yung magangang pakiramdam mo, yung marami kang magandang iniisip.
Do a lot of people that use SHABU also then get into selling it to try and feed their habit?
Oo, kasi ganun din ang nangyari sa akin. Nagbenta rin ako nito eh. Kasi ito karamihan talaga pinauutang nila to eh. Pinakukonsign ba? Pinauutang para ibenta mo. Pag di mo binayaran, wala. Hahanapin ka nun. Papatayin ka na nila.
So it's pretty swelteringly hot in there, and there's a lot of SHABU smoke in there, so worried I might have a bit of a contact high. But from what they were telling us, you know, Russ has been doing this for 20 years. Once you're smoking the SHABU, you're kind of locked in for a very long time. There's not really many other opportunities for people to get help, to get off it. It sounds like a very dangerous drug that these guys are clearly struggling with.
Cheap and highly addictive, using and dealing SHABU clearly has its risks. We managed to gain access to one small-scale operation typical to Manila to find out how their setup worked.
So Joaquin, can you tell me what you're doing here?
Tinitimbang namin yung para ibigay sa mga tao na may mga isang bulto, isang wampon, pinaparte-parte namin para ipa-distribute.
How much is here on the table right now?
Nasa 300,000. Mamayang gabi, wala ubos na to, nasa mga tao na to, bibenta na lang nila to.
You're very well aware of the effects that SHABU has on people and the stranglehold it can have on their lives. How does that make you feel being involved in this business?
Maano rin namin yan. Maramdaman din namin na medyo talaga kung saan. Pansin rin namin kailangan.
Hindi namin binibigyan ng pansin yung ganun mga nararamdaman namin dahil kailangan din namin ng pera eh.
Pagka papatado kami sa damdamin ng awa sa kanila na.
Walang mangyayari.
May epektuhan din kami na ano eh.
Do you want to expand your operation to other barangays, or are you pretty happy with the territory you currently control?
Siguro sa ngayon okay na yung ganito. Dahil pagka nag-interest pa kami ng ibang lugar, sigurado patay na naman yan.
And you're ready to kill to protect your business?
Nangyayari na nga yun.
Siyempre,
Nagawa na talaga namin para wag
hindi po pwedeng
Kasi kung
ganun
kami gagawa
kahirap.
ng ganun,
Hindi ganun
kami
kadali.
madadali.
Hindi ganun kadali para nakuha namin yung ganitong lugar.
So in January, we saw a Mexican Sinaloa cartel member arrested in Manila carrying a large amount of SHABU. Have you seen any Mexican involvement in the SHABU trade over the years?
Talagang galing sa China yung ano, talagang ma-imported yung mga ano. Ngayon, sa ngayon, yung mga dito na ginagawa. Pag tumutungo na rito, na ipabigay na nila, wala na sila pakialam ng mga ata.
Alam na kayo, mga mabibigat din talaga yun. Kaya lang, hindi pa na masyado sila nakakaano nito.
Ito ng Pilipinas sa pinangan.
An overwhelming 89% of narcotic arrests in Manila this year were SHABU related, creating fierce competition amongst local gangs. The gang members took us to some scrubland outside the capital to test their weapons and tell us just how dangerous the trade has become.
So Joaquin, can you tell me what are these weapons and why you guys have to use them in the business that you're in?
Dahil may mga ibang mga pumapasok na grupo sa mga teritoryo namin. Kailangan namin ng ganitong mga armas dahil para proteksyon din sa amin.
Has the business over time, as SHABU's become more popular, become more risky?
Mas nagiging delikado dahil alam nilang marami ng pera ang usapan doon eh.
Do you think you've ever killed anyone when you've had to use these weapons to defend your barangay?
Para sa negosyo namin gano'n, kaya tinanggap ko na rin yung mangyari na gano'n. Dahil pumasok sila, gusto nilang kunin yung lugar namin. Hindi naman kami pumayag ng basta-basta nila makuha ng gano'n lang.
Do the police often try and break up your operation?
Wala, pinababayaan na lang kami dahil kesa naman sa madamay pa sila. Inihantay na lang nila matapos, saan na lang sila dumadating.
Are the police aware of what's going on? They're aware of who controls which areas, who controls what kind of product?
Mismo mga pulis na yung mga pumuprotekta rin sa amin. Tama na.
To find out more about the shifting relationships between foreign drug syndicates, we met with Chief Inspector Murder of the Anti-Illegal Drug Special Operations Task Force, who headed up this year's arrest to suspected Sinaloa member Horacio Hernandez Herrera.
Based on our experiences, the syndicates operating in the country are the Chinese syndicates and now the Mexican Sinaloa drug cartel that started to operate in the country. But lately, we have observed the local Chinese drug syndicates have cooperated or worked together with the Mexican Sinaloa drug cartel.
And how does that relationship work exactly?
Based on the report, the working relationship between the Mexican Sinaloa and the local Chinese syndicates is more on distribution of the finished product coming from the Mexico.
So Mexico delivers finished meth or SHABU to the Chinese, who then import it into the country?
That's it, yes.
And could you tell me what are the main ports of entry and how are they able to smuggle so much in without being noticed?
The drugs coming from abroad enters through the customs and of course the vast shoreline of the Philippines. The drugs are dropped from the open sea waters in the oceans and picked up by some local cohorts of the syndicate.
And what do you think it is about the Philippines that is so attractive to these foreign cartels?
The perceived corruption among the pillars of the criminal justice system. One mayor was arrested transporting hundreds of kilograms of meth using the local ambulance of the municipality.
Wow. So a lot of sort of politicians use drug money to fund their campaigns.
We believe that those arrested government officials, elected and appointed, lots, hundreds, 200s, we believe that the drug money could be used this coming election.
Corruption appeared to be at every level, But to see just how true these claims were, we reached out to a former member of the Philippine National Police to talk about his experience with bribery and corruption within the police force.
How long were you in the police force and what departments did you work in?
I entered in the police service since 1984 up to 2014. Napakaraming corruption ngayon. Obserbasyon ko ngayon, sa 100 cops, siguro mga 10 na lang yung talagang mabait.
And how did it make you feel knowing that your work was often compromised by corruption?
Mata na lang akong tinitingnan yung mga ginagawa ng mga kasamahan ko.
At any time during your service, did you ever take a bribe?
Nakatanggap din ako, pero hindi naman malaki. Ano lang, ibigay din ng mga kasamahan ko. Abutan ako ng for the boys ng mga kasama ko. Tanggap ko na rin kasi magsasalita ka, nasa ano ka na, tatapong ka na sa kangkungan o sa halimbawa sa tapunan ng patay, ganun. Delikado.
So we're driving around Tondo waiting for a phone call from one of the delivery guys, and his job is to deliver larger amounts of SHABU to a number of street-level dealers who will then sell on the SHABU to the users in the district. Joseph, how much SHABU are you carrying on you right now and how much is it worth?
Nasa mga 9 grams, mga 7,000.
Have you seen over the past couple of years like an increase in demand for SHABU?
Madami. Minsan nadagdagan. Marami na rin yung gumagamit eh. Kailangan nila yun eh. Gamit nila sa trabaho, puyat.
We're now going to follow Joseph on his bike as he delivers the SHABU to 2 of the street-level dealers. So given the high demand for SHABU, Joseph has to make 2 of these runs every single day. So he's just dropped off some to this guy.
Where the Philippines had fallen short in creating opportunities for its poorest, SHABU was picking up the slack, be it turning the unemployed into dealers or enabling users to work even longer hours. The Sinaloa cartel, working alongside the well-established Chinese gangs, sets a dangerous precedent, one that the corruption within the police and government will make so much harder to tackle, compounding the misery for those plagued by the drug.